Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy Shabrady, and you're listening to the Booty League podcast.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Booty League podcast. I think episode 6, week 6, joined by Chris, the wonderful co host, and step bro James, all the way from across the world. What's up,
You guys
James?
hear me all the way from over here?
Yeah, so the quick question of the day is, how has the Ohio life been treating you?
I'm starting to embrace it. I have my Cincinnati jersey, Sauce Gardner
Hey,
jersey,
let's go.
so I'm embracing it. But since moving out here, I think that the more things change, the more I realize things stay the same.
Oh,
Another year, the Raiders suck.
yeah.
News just came in. Tom Brady owns us again,
Uh-huh.
and another one of my favorite teams is moving. So things are kind of the same actually. But Ohio's been good in general. The white people out here are actually pretty nice. Like if I met this type of white people, I might have a different opinion of them. But they're nice, they're humorous, they say shit that is fucking hilarious. But the weather's kind of whack. So it's fucking
I
cold as
see.
fuck right now. Like it's like right now it's like 36 degrees or something.
Well,
I thought it was cold here. It's like 67.
Yeah, I wore a sweater today, bro. That's true. But what city you living in? It's not Cincinnati, right? What is it?
No, I'm not in the city. I'm in the suburbs, so I'm in Mason.
Oh,
like
Mason.
25 minutes away from downtown.
All right, book your flights next year, boys. That's where the draft's gonna be.
We're drafting over there.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
we would fly into Cincinnati or what?
Yeah,
That would be the airport.
It's
Okay.
actually in Kentucky, but it's Cincinnati.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I heard there's
It's,
a lot
it's
of
across the river from Cincinnati.
Okay.
there's a lot of weird geography stuff.
Yeah,
that
is
I
it
just
another
hear it, I'm like,
Kansas City situation? Kansas City, Missouri situation.
Kinda.
All right. But how's your season been? I mean, sitting at 4-2, does it feel like a good 4-2, or does it feel like a bad 4-2?
It's like one of those like I'm not sure if it's real or not because like looking at like the stats I think I'm scoring enough. Like I'm trying to hover around the average. I think I'm a little below average right now, but like the stat that scares me is like the points against, and I feel like that's gonna eventually creep its way back up. And so I think I'm pretty fortunate at 4-2 to have like Puka gone, Pacheco gone, Jordan Love was gone for a while too. So I think like to be 4-2, I feel pretty fortunate about that.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think in a few weeks, I think your team's gonna it's you kept it afloat. You didn't manage your diff. You should be 5-1 if you think about it.
I didn't know that Jerry Jones lets all these rapists into fucking Jerry World, man. Like every single team goes into Jerry World, takes a shit all over the field, drops fucking 40 plus points on them. So I didn't see this coming, like especially from like the number one defense like last year, you know?
Yeah.
they were killing
So
it too.
You were
so
the first
I was
one.
shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked, and like like eventually Derek Carr turns into a pumpkin, right? So I didn't think that Kamara would drop 50 like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
but it is what it is. It's just fantasy.
It's in the past. Yeah. Freaking Jawan Jennings can drop a 50 piece on his fantasy football. You never know.
That's my one win this year, guys. That's my fucking one win is Juwan Jennings
An act of Juwan to
off the
fucking make it
waiver
happen.
to throw into my roster just to freaking win for me. Holy shit! I'm so bad at this.
A Herculean effort from Jawan Jennings.
My God.
All right.
Let's jump into our shot bets for this week. No payout for this week. Jonathan still owes us. I think he's on the Timmy route right now. He's trying to collect 12 or something like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. We had a Topher's running back core combines for 10 rush attempts. David had the over.
10 rush attempts.
I took the opposite and the
That's
under.
crazy.
What was the result?
It
What the
was
result?
it was 15 rush attempts, 13 by Antonio Gibson, and like 2
Oh my
by
god, 13 by Antonio Gibson.
two,
What the
two
hell?
by fucking who is it? By fucking Jerome Ford, bro.
Oh, he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt, but I think he had
Alright,
like Zach Charbonnet in for a bit, so
okay.
it would have given him more carries. But yeah,
All right, I'll drink for that. So cheers
Alright,
to that, and then you can
cheers.
break
Yeah,
us down for our
let me
waiver
pour up
wars.
real quick.
No, while he pours up, I like to cheers James to tomorrow's National Bosses Day. We're recording on Tuesday right now, so thanks to our commish, the big boss of this league,
That's true.
holding us down. Setting up everything. So, all right, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, and so we didn't really. It's a quiet. Usually, when it's a pop in waiver wire week for the fantasy football goers, it's usually a quiet time for our league, and the last weeks would have been the crazy one. A lot of
Yeah.
people got picked up. But breaking news: Topher picks up reacquires Purdy for $33. 2 total bids, Chris being the other bid for $1. Royce picking up Saints D for $11, 0 bids. Jonathan picking up Sean Tuck for $3. Chris being the other bid for $0. Anything come out to you, James?
No, I was expecting a pretty quiet week, but like the Purdy pickup kind of caught my attention. Not because I think it's a good pickup, but because he dropped 33 on it. I thought it was kind of a head scratcher because I'm kind of the mindset like there's like probably 2 or 3 other quarterbacks out there, and I will just put 0 bids on them, and I just get whoever I get, you know. But I don't know. Maybe Topher really likes Purdy. So what
I'm
about
sure.
you?
I'm sure some things influenced him. Where it was like, I think I put 22 on him last time, and I had like no one else bid against him. So he's like, all right, Chris might need a quarterback. Like, I gotta go big here.
Mm,
That's an idea, and I don't know. I did that last year with Dak too, so hopefully it works out for him. That's all I gotta say. But I agree with James's concept of that as well. Um, I really like the Marshawn Lloyd pickup and the Kendrick Miller pickup. I really wanted. I was thinking about Lloyd, but I was kind of afraid of Connor being hurt, so I kind of put my eggs into more of the Arizona backfield. Um, but yeah, I didn't have too much going on today as well. David,
yeah,
anything you're
yeah.
looking
I'm
at?
surprised more people didn't like go after Sean Tucker. I'm surprised only you and Jonathan went after him for $3. He was one of the more popular ones, but I for you never know how these backfields are gonna. It always seems to pan out the exact opposite of how the fantasy community thinks it's gonna pan out. Like
Yeah.
for example, like freaking on Monday when everyone thought it was gonna be Ty Johnson as the starter, and then it's Ray Davis, or when it's always like this random guy from nowhere that gets like the bulk of the carries when the so I'm surprised more people didn't just speculate on Sean Tucker. Um, as for Topher spending $33 on Purdy, I feel like this guy has spent like $80 on players he hasn't even put into his lineup yet. Because
True.
I forget who
It's true.
he spent
Yeah.
like $40 on another guy. I forget who,
On
and he
the one of the
Jalen
Vikings.
Naylor, Jalen
Yeah,
Naylor,
Jalen Naylor.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
he
yeah.
just dropped him the next. It's like pay. I don't know these Topher finances, man. I don't know, but
Maybe he's trying to get to like a certain limit where it's easier to manage, and for a lot of people, that
Mm.
limit's 0.
yeah, that's true. I mean, when he hasn't really been spending all that much. He has $129 left, which is among the higher ones in the league, or maybe middle of the pack. Um, so when he
Oh,
does spend,
so
he spends big.
he's just flexing that fuck you money then.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's about it.
All right, we jump into the trade this week. This one came through. David receives J.K. Dobbins, while Michael receives Jalen Waddle and Jordan Addison. You want to break this down first before we give a review? Like peel it back for us. How'd
Peel
you get?
back. How
Yeah,
like
how'd you make this happen? You just happened?
As
This is what I'm talking about.
as with all great Michael trades, he always reaches out to you first.
Mm.
And so he comes out, he messages me, Michael. I think if you're listening to this, it's a good trade, dude. Don't let them. It's fair, Michael. Okay, it's a fair trade. I want to get that out first. But how Michael operates is funny. So he reaches out to me. He's like, "Hey, David, like, I'm interested in Jordan Addison." I don't know why he's this guy's only played like 2 games.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too. He can't quit him. He
He
loves
likes
Jordan Addison.
UCs.
And it's like I'm like there. So in my mind, I'm like, bro, like Jordan Addison literally only played 2 games. The one he has 2 fucking touchdowns for like 25 points. The other game he has like 5 points. Like this guy is like so like volatile. Like we don't know what we have here. I guess it's like a mystery box. And but
Yeah.
he's really high on him, and I'm like, oh, so you're pretty high on him, right? And so if you're looking up and down my roster, what I really need is like a running back, right? My running backs are like they're just kind of like Jags right now.
Mhm.
Um, you don't know how Tyron Tracy, if he might just give the work back to Singletary, so then I'm just left with Tank Bigsby and Etienne and Rico. So just a bunch of like could pan out, could not pan out. And so I'm interested in getting a running back. And so Michael, luckily enough, has a lot of running backs that are like running back twos, serviceable running like high end running back twos maybe. And so I'm like, okay, Pollard, JK, and Brees, who do you like value the least? And he's like, I value JK the least. And so I'm like, okay. Um, and so I guess this is the part where I'll peel back the curtain. And so I'm like, okay, JK, and Addison, not, but I was like, just those two, like, just throwing the names out. They'll be in the package. And then he comes back with me. He's like, straight up, and he's like, damn. I'm like, this fool's actually considering that shit, dude. Like,
No
like
shit.
he's like, no, but then he like comes to his senses, and then and then he's like, okay, Jordan Addison and Rico Dowell for JK, and so
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, I was like, okay, like I like Rico. I think them going on to their bye week will they'll make a change in the bye week because obviously following like that huge loss, they're gonna make a change. I'm hoping the cookie crumbles Rico's spot, and so I really didn't want to let go of Rico, but I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. And then he gets cold feet, right? He's like,
Oh
Oh,
wow.
so you guys like
wow.
that trade? You guys like that
I
trade?
like it.
I thought
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought this trade was better for him than
I
the
think
Rico
that's a little
trade.
more. I think it's a little more even. I would say.
But he didn't want it. He backed out. I was like, okay, you
Okay.
back out, fine. I think he wanted to win this week too, because Rico's gonna be on
Mm.
bye this week, so he needed a
Fair.
win.
Fair.
But he didn't get a running back, so it doesn't really matter. So I was like, he's like, I'm concerned about my wide receiver 2 spot. Can you help me here? And then we go back and forth, whatever. And I was like, all right, Jordan Addison will help you now, and when Tua comes back, Jalen Waddle will help you in the future. And he really liked that. He really liked that. Because he was like,
Mm,
he's like, David, I need a long term solution. And I'm like, okay, long term Addison. And then
mm,
he'll keep you afloat. And then you play Waddle when Tua comes back. Because, Waddle's like, if we're going back to draft days, it was like a third or fourth round pick, right?
yeah.
And so like he's a nice people forget, but I forget sometimes. But he was a nice player back when Tua was there.
Mhm.
And so I was like, here, have this. And then he loved that trade, and so we accepted it. So
Okay.
peeling back the curtain there.
Um.
Thoughts?
Oh man, I see the names like I don't know. I'm just not a big Jordan Addison fan. I think if you're bought into the Vikings doing well, which they have been, and Sam Darnold, looking good, I think that's great to have the wide receivers too there. Jalen Waddle is just a tougher name for me. I don't know when Tua is coming back, if he's coming back, and all that stuff. Um, so you could be just trading Dobbins for Addison for all we know, and I know he's been really frustrated with his wide receivers. He can't start Pickens. He can't start Ayuk. He's like, dude, I gotta bench them. Um, so yeah, I don't know if that's like the answer for his problem. I don't know if that's the answer to his problem. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I think in a vacuum, I really like Jalen Waddle. But again, his value is too dependent.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan Addison, I know Jordan Addison went on a tear last year because like basically every game he played, he had a touchdown.
Yeah.
So um, we'll see about this year. Like theoretically, he's getting healthy because I think he like broke his leg or something, or, like last year, not last
No,
year, but like didn't he like have some injury? Because he was out. He's been out for a while.
he
He has
had
Like
like
like a
recently
he's
came
sprained
been
back.
dealing with the,
ankle at the
yeah,
beginning of the year
Okay, okay,
he's
in
been
the
dealing with
first
the ankle
game,
injury,
something like
and
that.
he like re-hurt it or something like that.
okay. That's what it was. Um, but like if he's gotten over that, then I can see how Jordan Addison is a little bit more reliable than like Pickens or even like IU currently.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like you put these names in a hat and you pull one out, I think you still get the same confidence level,
Mm-hmm.
like no matter what name you pick out. So I'm not sure that maybe Michael knows something because Jordan Addison is his boy.
That's no.
Maybe he's seen something,
I was gonna
but
say, you guys are thinking in a vacuum, but you gotta think about it. Mike Mo gets his noble phantasm back,
oh, that changes everything
Mm,
now.
right? So, so he acquires his note. So he leveled up here. So you need that good
the,
luck charm on your team.
the difference
That's
between a
true. That's
noble
true.
phantasm though is like Nee's noble phantasm is proven. Like he's won a booty off of it. Like is Michael's noble phantasm really proven? Like all I got him was into the
It
toilet
makes him
bowl.
it makes him a toilet titan. Like he's hard to beat in the
Yeah.
toilet. He's always there. The toilet goes
I'm
through him. He's the last boss before you go face Timmy.
I mean, yeah, I mean
Oh,
he right now he's preparing for the toilet right now, so he needs him on his team.
yeah.
He needs Joe Addy on his team. But I mean, I thought it was a fine trade. I'm a little more optimistic that Tua comes back, and I don't know why I have a sneaky suspicion that Sam Darnold and or maybe not so much Sam Darnold, but I think the Vikings and just the coaching there is so good. I think they can
It is.
find ways to get Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson involved with Sam Darnold in more of a game manager type of role. And
Mhm.
so I really believe in maybe they are not going to be as hot as they are right now, but I think Jordan Addison could be a PPR like machine almost.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
Addison gets those like manufactured like jet sweeps,
Hmm.
and so like there's always going to be inherent value with that.
Mhm.
And so I definitely think Jordan Addison is like he has a nose for the end zone. Like that's his biggest thing. Like whether it's a long touchdown, whether it's like off a sweep. So he is a lot better than maybe his name or his history has said. But like I think a lot of people are still a little iffy on like the consistency part of his game.
Hmm. Hmm. All
All
right.
right. I think that's a good segue to jump into our game this week. Our game this week is trade wins. Yeah, 3-3, 2-4s, 1-5s right now. We're 6 games in here. We have about what seven teams in that bottom half right now trying to fight for a booty spot. Tough times ahead for the 1-5ers. 3-3s sliding a little bit. You got Topher sliding. Um, so we're gonna look at after that commotion of a Tuesday. We haven't heard, it's been a little quiet. So
Yeah.
let's see if we get these trade wins blowing a little bit. So let's start off with James. Let's break down your first person.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at Topher's roster. Him and I made a trade last week that hasn't really panned out for him because Jerome Ford basically got injured on the third play.
Yeah.
Um, so that kind of like compounds what he was trying to fix last week with that trade. So I think he still needs some help at the running back position. Um, Overall, I think his roster is like okay. It's kind of like he has enough pieces to like be competitive week in and week out, but like outside of like maybe Kyron, there's no one that really wows you or like stands out from his roster. So like if I was Topher, I'd be doing the same thing as he did last week, taking it week by week, trying to find a matchup or a player that he likes that maybe has a good stretch, 3, 4 weeks, like even like three matchups out of the next 5 weeks, I think is appetizing for his roster. So I'd be doing something like that, like trying to find another person to try to find a package to deal with. I know like he's kind of hurting at quarterback, but like at this in this league, you can stream quarterback and still be competitive. I feel like, and
Yeah.
at this point, everybody has tight end problems. So like I don't think those onesie positions are really like too much of a factor when I look at people's rosters. It's like
Mhm.
how much of a difference can you make at running back and wide receiver? And for
So
him, I think like having someone a little more reliable at running back would go a long way.
Yeah, but you since you're if you're trying to trade for something, you have to trade something away. So what are you're not trading away Kyron, right? So you
Yeah.
thinking about trading Nico? You think about trading Diggs or yeah? What's
I'm I'm
y-
I've asked him for a price check on this specific player a few times, and now that like his situation's gotten a little bit better, but it's Romeo Dobbs. I'm a huge Romeo Dobbs
mhm,
guy.
agree.
I think he is someone who can get him a running back that he needs.
okay? So you think Romeo Dobbs is a nice piece that can get you like a speculative running back that could pan
Mm.
out, or
Yeah.
like a low end running back too, like a Travis Etienne. Is that what we're aiming for here with Romeo? Not like, but like players like that,
I
or
think so. I think so.
or are we aiming like a tier down, like the murky situations backfields?
I don't think Topher can um play a coin flip game with like who's the running back of the week for a specific team. Because he already has one, like Antonio Gibson. Prospectively is taking Ramondre's job, right? But
Yeah.
like you're still not sure. Um, so I would honestly, I'd do it for JK. Like that's the kind of like tier of running back that I would do it
Mm-hmm.
for.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so trade away. You got some nice pieces. Aim like running back two slash R high end RB3 tier. Topher.
All right. Go ahead and David pick up here.
Yeah, I'll pick up here. We're just breaking down the three threes. So these six guys are fighting for one spot essentially if the playoffs were to start right now. So I mean, everyone nowadays like from here on out matters for these guys. So breaking down Nick, I mean Nick's strengths, he's got two of the top three running backs. Would you say is his strengths? Tight end
Yeah.
is his strength right here. I mean, Bowers is like doing pretty well. He's not going crazy yet, but he could after the Devontae trade. Um, Weaknesses, I think he needs like wide receiver consistency here and something from his quarterback week in and week out. He needs like I think he can win a lot of matchups if he could just get like 20 points from Kyler every week in week out, but he can only get like 25 or 10,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So those are a few weaknesses in Nick's roster, but overall, looks his starting lineup looks solid. I mean, it's a nice roster. But I have a concern that Nick's roster can't really withstand an injury, right? Looking down into his bench, like he's got no running backs besides. Oh, he's got one. He's got Ramondre, right, to fill in for Barkley and
Yeah.
Henry.
Yeah.
But that's like pretty much it. And then looking at his wide receiver depth, he's got Pittman, Rashid, Shaheed, and Keon Coleman, and they all just after last week are just in bad situations now
Hmm.
Yeah.
because of different situation, right? So his starting roster looks pretty good. He just can't survive, and everyone has to stay healthy from here on out. Um, but as for what type of trades would I try and make? Would you guys ever try to break up Barkley and Henry for something like a stud receiver plus RB2?
I think it's hard because that's where his floor and his ceiling is at. It's all consolidated at running
Uh-huh.
back. So it's
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
really hard to like walk away from it,
Yeah.
especially like with the sort of like roster that he has. Honestly speaking, if I was him and I wanted to upgrade at wide receiver, I would do it. And I think
Hmm.
it's very attract. Those are very, very attractive pieces. So you'll get
Absolutely.
something really nice back.
Just throwing out some trades here. Not that Jonathan needs it, but would you do a J Neighbors and JT for Saquon? Neighbors concussed, can't use him right now. JT has been doing solid, but nothing like Saquon or Derrick Henry. Would you do that if you were? Would it be like those tiers of players that you would break that combo up for, or is that
T-
too
I,
much?
I think it's around the right spot. Personally, I know I've tried to take. I've asked Jonathan for neighbors in the past, and I would have to pry him from his cold dead hands. Like
I
Okay.
he's not
see.
letting go. But so like, if it wasn't neighbors, would you do it for Brian Thomas?
I don't. I think. I think Nick likes the shiny. I think Nick likes the
Yeah.
shiny names, right? Brian
The more
Thomas.
reliables.
Yeah, he likes like people he's seen on TV before.
Some of they only play on prime time.
Yeah.
Got it.
What about like another one I'm tossing around here with Chris, Amon Ra, and Connor but I think that might that might just cripple Chris's team with
Yeah,
that trade. You know?
I don't got the facilities for that big
What
man.
about a Cooper Cup and James Conner for a Derrick Henry, let's say.
I
Cooper
would say
Cup.
that's right there. I would say that's right there.
I I think it sounds good, but like I think Nick would need to see
I see.
Cooper touch
Mhm.
Yeah.
grass.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's a risk that Nick I feel like doesn't really need to play, but a take. But
Yeah.
that's just where his holes are. So, hopefully his team stays healthy the rest of the year. What about you, Chris? Why don't you
All right,
break
I'm
down
jumping
your guy?
into the last 3-3 team. We got Royce here. Dare I say Royce's team has the right pieces, like Baker, quarterback one. Uh, A-Chain's been hurt. Comes off the bye. Hopefully he's healthy. Maybe the offense moves better. The offense is kind of going through him right now. His running backs have been playing pretty well between Chuba and Swift.
Mm-hmm.
He has CD as his wide receiver one, and then I feel like his wide receiver two and flex spots are in pretty good places, like Deontay, McLaurin, Mooney, Olave. He just has to pick the right guys. Uh, but yeah, I think his wide receiver flex is fine. Tight end doesn't matter, like we've talked about. So if I were him, I feel like he has a lot of those like wide receiver two, wide receiver three kind of tiers, and maybe he can like upgrade a little bit. He so I would say, package two wide receivers for a stronger wide receiver from a needy team. I think if he targeted uh, like Michael earlier in the week, maybe that would help. Um, maybe like Vince Hook, like getting Tyreek or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If he trusts the name. I even talked about, and then another one I'm throwing out is like a Chuba McLaurin for like Brees if he wants to upgrade at uh,
That'd be
running
kind of
back.
That's
spicy.
not bad. That's not a bad trade.
Right?
Yeah.
Michael gets the stack. Royce gets, I would say, two really solid wide receivers, and he has less of a headache to deal with. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just I think that's the trade. Just looking really briefly, that's something I saw. But if I were him, I'd look to package those wide receivers and running back, and just trying to get a little bit of a tier up if possible. It's probably gonna sound bad to him, but I think he's in a good position with Deontay McLaurin. Like I said, Mooney and Olave, they're kind of in that range that I think he can move something up just a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Next, what do you got? Oh,
James.
So going down the record list, we have Timmy, who pulled off a win
On a
last week.
2-game win
that's true.
streak. Let's call it how it
That,
is.
That's
that's
true.
heating up. That's heating up.
That's heating up.
So looking at his roster, there's a few guys that a few kind of generous, but there's a lot of pieces that I'm not too confident in. Um, you know, but I don't think he's at a shortage for players he can put some pretty good nicknames on. That's about it for strengths. In terms of
That's true.
weaknesses,
Yeah, he's got good
honestly,
nicknames.
another strength. This team's relatively healthy. So, outside of like MSJ who just got
Yeah.
hurt last week, Aaron Jones has been out for what, 2 weeks now, I think. He had a bye last week, but he's been banged up. But otherwise, like, I think his team is relatively healthy. In terms of weaknesses, like, I think there's a lot of question marks on his roster. Like, is Juju going to keep this up for the whole year, right?
Mhm.
Is Christian Watson gonna stay healthy the whole year, right? Is QJ the truth? Like, you can ask Timmy, and Timmy will say QJ's the truth, but he also doesn't start him. So, you know,
And then he did start him last week, and then he gave him 3 points, but he got
hey,
him the
dude, he
dub.
he needed all those 3 points,
That's
right?
true.
So, if I had inherited Timmy's rosters, I think it's a little hard to trade right now. I think like I'd be kind of looking for people who have some deficiencies in their rosters, because at this point, like I'm trying to get like a 2-for-1 maybe, and I don't know if Garrett Wilson can get you that off the Devontae Adams trade. Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. can get you some of that.
Mhm.
But like of his other pieces, like you're basically swapping. You're gonna swap out an upgrade at running back for, and you're gonna downgrade at wide receiver for a little bit, all right, or vice versa. So I think honestly, I think the biggest grenade on Timmy's roster is Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
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 I
Every
We've been
year.
there. We've
We've
been there.
been there. We've been there.
I
Timmy
I
falls into it.
actually all three of us have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like funny enough, he like was like asking me like, "Yo, you had Patrick Mahomes last year, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Dude, I don't know what to do with him because I can't drop him, but I also don't want to play him." And I was like, "Dude, you just gotta be brave and drop him because like
You can't play him. Like he's doing you no good, right?
You
you can
can't play him,
honestly
dude.
pick up Sam Darnold. He's free,
Yeah.
right? Like no skin off your back. You just throw him. You can throw Patrick Mahomes on the bench. Get rid of Geno Smith. Pick
Yeah.
up Sam Darnold, and
Yeah.
play Sam Darnold. So I think a trade might not be as impactful unless he gets a 2-for-1, but that would require him to trade someone like Marvin Harrison or like Garrett Wilson to get, I don't know, an RB2, like a low end RB2 and a low middling wide receiver two. I don't know if that's tasteful or appetizing at all. So, I mean, that's what I would do if I had his roster.
I mean, yeah, that great.
That's
Yeah, I think he should drop. Is Patrick Mahomes droppable? He could be. It could be like the Zamir White of quarterbacks. So
Samir White of quarterbacks.
you
That's
know
Oh,
is
Zamir.
that's
that is
crazy.
Zamir
that
with no
This
history
guy's a
in well.
winner, dude.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're not real GMs in real
Oh my
life. You could just
god,
drop
dude.
this guy, pick up Aiden O'Connell, man. We won't get fired. All
Shit.
right. So, yeah, the next person we're gonna break down is Vin, sitting out, another 1-5 boy. Vin's got some strengths. His running backs, I like the way that they've been using Ken Walker after his injury. He looks really good out there. I like Brian Robinson. Is he healthy yet, or is he still? No,
He's still banged up.
he's still banged up, but I like that. Oh wait, I thought he was. Never mind. I don't like his running backs anymore. But you could trade them. They're strong. They have value, right?
Yeah. They
So
have
that's
Yes,
his
they have
strength.
yes,
value.
yes.
By strengths we mean value, and by weaknesses we mean what you need to fill in, right?
Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
the weakness of his roster, but it's a little bit murky. On paper, they shouldn't be weaknesses, but because of their situations, they are weaknesses. Like his wide receivers and his tight ends. Like on paper, these guys are really good players, but for some reason, they're not panning out. Whether it be Amari Cooper was previously on the Browns, now he's on the Bills, so that might pan
Yep.
out for him.
Mhm.
Um, you have Tyreek. We're just waiting on Tua to come back and operate this offense. So
Mhm.
that's looking good for him. But what's looking bad for him is that he's 1-5. He can't wait for these situations to pan out, right? So you have to make a move. Right now, I think the piece you probably have to let go of Tyreek Hill here on your team and kind of like save your season. I think with Vin's roster, especially with Brian Robinson and Rashad White being out and Warren playing the Jets defense, Who is he gonna play in the running back slot? I feel like trading Tyreek Hill to like someone that maybe is like 5-1 or 4-2, who can wait on him and get pieces that you can use now and kind of keep yourself in the mix would be better suited for Vin, and maybe like take a chance on maybe Tua doesn't come back, or maybe Tua doesn't come back until week 11, right? So you don't want to be caught holding the bag there. Take a chance. I mean, at like 1-5, like you have to make like these coin flip decisions, and maybe it doesn't feel good now, but maybe something can break your way, and it turns out that your trade was actually really good for you and you got off the ship. Like people that traded Christian McCaffrey week 1, they like sitting pretty right now, right? Or because they took a chance and then something broke their way, and now they have like two.
Hey, say that to me that's still holding on to Christian McCaffrey. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, people not in our league, right? So, so,
Yeah, yeah.
I
yeah.
got you, I got
So
you.
Tyreek Hill, trading Tyreek Hill for 2 quality pieces. I don't know how much he can get you right now. I'm thinking something like a running back 2 and a wide receiver, high end wide receiver 2 right now with like two of them, 2-for-1. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that depends
Or
on
not
the
even that much. Let's
that
go
depends on the
to, let's say that someone that's like 5-1. Let's go Ryan here. Would you do a Devonte Adams plus?
he doesn't have a
He
running
doesn't have
back
a
that
running back
he doesn't have a running
that's
back to
good
help him out
enough.
there.
Um, let's
What about
myself.
2 wide receivers? Like let's say Tay Adams and ooh, JSN.
Too expensive. Oh, but the bench is not that great. JSN maybe, right? But that's maybe a little bit too big of a risk for my appetite.
Hmm.
Go to Jonathan. Would Jonathan take a
No, what? Okay, so what if Ryan offered him Tay and Joe Mixon
Tay and Joe Mixon
Oh,
for
for Tyreek?
for
For
Tyreek,
Tyreek? I would.
you'd have to add something in the Tyreek side.
Yeah, you would have to add something. You might have to add
Or would you do would you
like
throw
a
in the
Jalen
Brian Thomas?
Warren
Are you saying you had to add because to make the trade more fair, or you had to add because Vin Took needs to trade more than Ryan does?
to make the trade fair. I
Okay.
feel like
Yeah.
Ryan's given up a lot.
Okay.
Um,
What about you if you're doing like a Brian Thomas Tyreek for say Joe Mixon? Brian Robinson, excuse me,
Brian
not Brian Thomas. Excuse
Robinson.
me, my bad.
I would I would do it.
I would do
If
that.
you're
I
if
would
you're
do
one of the
that.
you're in win now mode
I would do that.
because the magic number is 7 losses. If you hit 7 losses, I think you're out of the playoffs.
It's tough. I think you're just
Yeah.
hoping for uh probability at that point, but this is very
Yeah.
tough.
Or we
But
can.
like because like it's like what would give you the highest chance of going 6-2 in the next 8 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It would have to be pieces who are healthy, playing now in relatively good situations.
Mhm. Would you do a
Because like,
DK Metcalf and Chase Brown for Tyreek? Is that too much? Or
mm,
no,
I think that's around the
that
right
yeah,
price
That's
something
point.
around there,
like
yeah.
that. Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I would
Something
have
like
to.
that.
I
You
would humor it.
chew it, yeah,
I,
because you're
I
sitting
would think
pretty,
about it.
right? You would be
Yeah.
running Pacheco presumably, um,
If he
JJ and
comes
Tyreek
back,
as your
yeah.
starting roster with Puka running out your flex maybe when he comes back. So I mean, it's something. I mean, the deals are out there, and then that would really help Vin because Vin's depth like right now it ain't doing anything for him.
Yeah.
Okay, and
I think.
go ahead.
I think it also takes like a more proactive approach from Vintuk. Like he needs to reach out to people
For
because
sure.
I have like all the years that we played. Like, as he's an original member, I don't think he's ever approached me for a trade. I've always
Mhm.
had to approach him. And so like now he's in a spot where he needs a trade. Like
Hmm.
it's either like history has said that he's one of those he's the captain goes down with the ship kind of guys, right? He's not trying to shake up the
Yeah.
mojo on his roster. So I think like if he reaches out to somebody, I think that adds a lot to like the trade conversation because it's
Hmm.
like
True.
you know he I think it speaks a lot to like Vintuk like is trying to shake up the roster. I think people are more open to that when you talk to somebody who is a prospective trader who's trying to shake up the roster. I think it opens up a lot more conversation.
Mhm. All right. Let's jump into our other 1-5 team, Mike Mo. Mike Mo's I would say strength as a quarterback, even though we don't want to talk about the onesies positions. I do have to point out that Mike Mo has uh, 614 points for, which is pretty high, and he has the second most points against, 680. So 1-5, tough schedule,
Tough.
I would
Feels
say.
bad.
Yeah.
That feels
Um,
bad.
I think his quarterbacks and running backs are good. He did try to address his wide receiver strength. Tight ends are what it is. His bench hasn't performing well. He was big on Ayuk and Pickens, and they just haven't been helping him out. So he did make that move today. Um, yeah, so maybe he's lacking depth and his running backs are all like running back handcuffs. So maybe lacking depth, but he just definitely needs a strong lineup to start winning. I feel like he has it. Uh, what I would do, hopefully he can trade off name value. I'm thinking like an Ayuk Waddle, like those are big names for a Tyreek, or even like just a McLaurin. Like I would say, fuck it. I can't play Ayuk. If I don't like the situation, maybe get McLaurin, get the stack in there. So you're running like McLaurin, Williams, Addison. Um, Maybe you get like a small piece back. But yeah, I would say like you're trying to trade names at this point. Uh, Ayuk and Waddle being his biggest. Thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, I think yeah, making so you want like someone you would like to upgrade to maybe a low end wide receiver one, essentially. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, or higher end wide receiver too for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I could see that. I mean, he's got a solid team. It's not as hurting as some of the other 1-5 teams that we're gonna talk about next.
Huh.
I wonder who that is. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say like a consistent wide receiver. Maybe he's found it, Michael. Maybe you found it.
That's
But
true.
Mhm.
we'll see. Yeah, I agree. You have a solid team, Michael. It's not breaking your way. But yeah.
All right, and the last 1-5 team, James. Who do you got here?
Last,
Last but not least, the co-host
the
Chris
co-host.
Yes,
I was
sir.
in at
zooming
one
on
and
his
five.
face.
um, honestly speaking, this roster is not bad. The timing is awful with these injuries, and I think it's like I think Chris is kind of at the point where like his pieces are getting healthier, and I think that makes them a lot more attractive to trade because it's like Nick Chubb is coming back either this week or next week.
hmm
That makes him a lot more easy to trade than like week one, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so I think if Chris is trying to shake up the mojo, I'd probably try to look for something that like a wide receiver or running back too that provides a little more floor, someone who's getting a little more consistent workload. Um, because like honestly speaking, I think the ceiling is there. Like I think with like Amon Ra, hopefully Cooper Cup is recovered from the injury. Tucker Craft, like usually like the 1Z position, especially tight ends, but kind of a crapshoot. But it seems like Tucker Craft is a little more consistent, and his situation's gotten a lot better. So I honestly speaking would like be looking to trade someone like Nick Chubb, who to someone who's prospectively like interested or optimistic about that his situation. Um, I mean, like Amon Ra definitely can get you a 2-for-1. James Conner might not be able to get you a 2-for-1, but I feel like if you ask the right people, you might be able to get something.
hmm
But what do you think, David?
Yeah, I definitely think, Nick Chubb, I think Nick Chubb could be a really good piece in the trade package because right now he's like a mystery box. You don't know
Hmm.
what you have. The opponent doesn't know what you have. Maybe they overvalue him, maybe they undervalue him, right? You can't really take that risk right now. So,
Mhm.
just um you could trade him away at like kind of like let's say just for me, I would probably value Nick Chubb coming back. Let's say this week. I might value him as a just straight up running back too. Like like default, just like maybe like a
Yeah.
Tony Pollard type level of running back. Just
Sounds great to me.
yeah, so that's what he is right now as a mystery box. So depending if he plays week 7 and is crazy, then he's higher. But if he plays week 7 and it sucks, then it's lower. And then that continues on to week 8 if he doesn't play in week 7, right?
Yeah.
So I would say probably what's safest for you right now is to just trade away Nick Chubb plus something at Nick Chubb's, like, let's say higher value to get something something you can use now in return,
Mhm.
right? So that could be a move that you make. But yeah, hopefully Cooper Cup comes back for you. Cooper Cup, Amon Ra looking solid. So, um, yeah, maybe seems like you're hurting in quarterback here also. Is that right? You're running out Kirk
Dude,
Cousins.
I can't figure out quarterbacks. Every time I drop a quarterback, they go off. So
So
that's a manager diff. That's not even like the quarterback. It's just manager diff things.
yeah, you can probably stream someone. I guess you don't really need to handle it, but yeah, you can stream someone there. But yeah, I would say Nick Chubb, Cooper Cup, kind of nebulous. Maybe you can trade them away and have the cookie crumble like towards your side, or have you help you in the short term.
All right. With that being said, let's jump into our quick recap, some power rankings, and then even our bi-weekly set of David's tiers. David over Nick. All the co-hosts got that right. Ryan over Vin. Chris versus Timmy. I gave up another dub to Timmy. At least I didn't give up the Owen. Mike Mo versus Roy. Roy takes the dub there. Yi wins it over Topher. And then James versus Jonathan. James takes that dub over Jonathan. So the running total, David's got 67% correct so far. Pretty good, 2/3. Myself 56, and the guest is at 63%. So David and myself won. Tied. So we owe a shot.
Yeah.
So for
Why
that.
don't you break us down the power rankings,
Okay.
James, to keep
So
us moving along?
we got the movers and shakers. Jonathan, very short-lived. Run at the top. He drops down to 4. Ryan sneaks back into his nest that he's set up since the beginning of the year, so he's sitting at 1. David has been on a surge.
I'm on fire. These trades. I'm on fire with these
He's
trades.
surging. He's sitting at 2. Nick has him sitting at 3 for a little bit, but I'd rather be at 3 than where I'm at currently. Yi has been bumping up a couple spots, so he's sitting at 5. Royce has also bumped himself up a little bit at 6. Topher and myself are a little bit on the down right now at 6 and 7. Michael's sitting pretty stagnant at 8. Then you have Vintuk, who is also sorry, Michael's at 9, and Vintuk has also been a little stagnant at 10, and then we got the biggest move, probably the hardest move to make off of, going from 12 to 11. Timmy and Chris swap spots, so congrats
do-
Timmy on climbing up.
Chris
I
has
do have to
something.
say,
Chris has
Timmy's
something.
points for is incorrect. That's all I gotta say. That might change the algorithm.
Yeah, there's the points
Timmy's
for.
points for is the
Is it
same
off?
as Michael's.
It's
614.
it's 541.
So just to like, I guess because it's a new system,
Mhm.
like the table that you see doesn't have any influence on the power rankings themselves.
Oh,
The
okay. So the
power
power
rankings
rankings are
Oh.
correct.
Yeah, the power rankings are more correct
Oh
than the table.
yes.
The table was like manually entered, so it's all user error. If you see something wrong, that's on me. So I punched something
Oh.
in wrong. But like I do have a something that I'm working off of that like crunches the numbers
Oh, I
accurately
see.
and spits out like these results. And so, again, the table is all it's all manually inputted, it's all user error, but
Mm,
the power rankings themselves are true.
okay, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense because in the table it also says Timmy ranked 12 and
Yeah,
Chris
okay.
rank.
That's on me. That's on me.
Oh, okay, okay,
I try to put it
okay. So
together like as quick as possible.
well, we appreciate that. So it is true.
Yes.
Timmy's surging right now.
Damn. Surgeon.
Timmy is surging right now.
I always love a good.
out.
Yeah, I always love because we always shit on Timmy on the podcast, and I do
Yeah,
love
you
a
gotta
good
give him his
segment where
flowers,
we can.
man.
I always love a good segment where we can glaze Timmy a little bit.
Nah,
All
man,
right,
you gotta give him his flowers. Timmy's on the up and up.
yeah.
That's
Um,
fair. That's fair.
do we want to do tiers right now?
I
We're
thought
already
I thought the
50
Yeah,
minutes in.
it's going long.
What'd you say, John or James?
I think it's going a little
All right,
long.
yeah, we've been going 50. We'll let James is operating on East Coast time, so we'll just hop into the matchup. We'll delay tiers, for next week, and then we'll
Yeah.
let this man go to bed. We'll just hop into the matchups really quickly. All right, so sorry, there's a lot of movement in the tiers, boys. I'm so sorry. You gotta wait next week. Maybe people rise, maybe people fall.
Yeah, that's how
Maybe
you get them coming back for it.
yeah,
You
I'm
gotta take it
sorry.
away for
I'm
1
sorry.
week.
I'll give the audience one sneak peek. There is one team I put in booty bound. All right.
Oh,
All right. So I'm sorry to that one team. Maybe next week you drop down, but we're skipping this week of tears.
There, you're gonna leave us hanging like that.
Go ahead.
That's crazy.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Break down James versus Chris.
we can't even break that down because we got ourselves.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah,
I
it's
gotta
not
break
easy.
that down.
James, you want to shot bet that?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
James.
Also, has been quiet on shot bets. We need to pick this shit up, boys. What do you have to say about that comment, David?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was gonna do this, but anyone to the few people that listen this far, I knew that this league was getting soft and going down the toilet as soon as Marcus and Ty left the league. Marcus, just like you've been playing in the league for long enough with Marcus. He just has an eye for like things like this. He sees relative player values. He sees things
Mhm.
like this, and he said, "Hey David, I'm leaving the league. I don't like what it's become. I can see it going down and down a bad road, and so I don't think I'm gonna continue this year." And then I was like, so naive. I was like, "No, Marcus, you don't understand. We're in season 3 of the podcast. What could possibly go wrong?" And so Marcus knew. So let's get these shot bet numbers back up because this league has been getting soft, and I don't want to see us go the way of all the other family leagues.
Mhm, mhm.
All right, so break us down. You can just do a quick
Yeah, just
positional difference, and then
uh,
who do you got?
positional difference. I mean, I say you guys just bench everyone and do Chase Brown versus Zach Moss. What do you think to that?
Fuck no, dude. Zach Moss is on the
Ooh.
fucking.
Well, that
Fuck
might
that
be
guy.
your only chance, bro.
All right,
Okay.
Really quick, James.
Rush.
From the last matchup, I said Marvis Harrison Jr. got 0. There's no way my team could like. All right, I think I got this. It's not that bad. Zach Moss got -1, dude. That was so hot, dude. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. But running backs. I slightly lean James. Really quickly, the wide receivers. If Cooper plays, I would say more of a push. Actually, I still lean James. I think the DK Metcalf has big games ahead of him. He's like a touchdown machine, but I think he had a couple touchdowns called back, so the numbers aren't there. I like DK there. Um, Bro, tight end, I got Chris. I'm sorry. Laporta is one catch for like a 50-yard touchdown, or else he would have goosed you. But I gotta go with Green Bay here. Flex, I got James. Overall, I have James winning this. I think Chris doesn't have the too much good luck with quarterback, and you need at least 20 points from your quarterback, or you just start every matchup hamstrung. And we need Cooper Cup to play, but all in all, I think James wins this one. James
All right.
continues the streak here.
All right, he keeps it going. I continue my streak as well. On the other way, if you win versus David, let's jump into that one. But you always gotta yourself, especially for the we hamstring our we hamper ourselves trying to get this perfect record by getting ourselves sometimes. It just be like that. But David versus Vin, I like Burrow better this week. Running backs, I don't know who he's going to put in, but I like the Dobbins Jacobs after that trade. Um, wide receivers, definitely leaning towards David's side. Chase, London, Evans over Sutton, Cooper Hill. And then tight end, I got McBride. I think he just hasn't scored yet, something like that. I got David Easy here. Any differences in that analysis, James?
Nah, man. If Brian Robinson is healthy, he has a pretty juicy matchup. Um, Jalen Warren, I don't know. It might be better for him with Russ starting, but we don't
Yeah.
know if Russell Wilson's starting today. So
That's
you know,
fair.
it's trending that way. And at this point, I don't think Vintuk has very much choice in this matter.
Mm.
But yeah, I think I'm a lot more confident on David's side. So I think
Um,
David pulled it off.
Trey McBride does have one touchdown on the season. Chris, if you remember, it was to beat you. It was the fumble recovery in the
Yes, it
end
was.
zone.
That's right.
All right, I
I
think
could
so.
have been. I
He
could have been.
does.
I could have been 2-4 right
He could have
now.
been 2-4, except it came off of
Oh
Trey
my god.
McBride's. No, it was
Yeah.
James
That's
Conner fumble
that's
into.
Yeah.
crazy.
Not only did I, yeah, minus it was like a 7 point
9 point
swing
swing.
No,
or
it
something like that. No, because I didn't lose. I didn't lose the -2,
oh,
but
it
I
was
would have
yeah,
lost.
Right.
yeah,
But I was like,
7 point. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
oh my god, dude. Yeah, I was right. I was sitting right there next to you. I was like, oh, touchdown! Like fucking, who's this white boy that picked it up? Trey McBride. God damn it. All right. James, do us the honor of breaking us down on Timmy versus Jonathan.
Timmy versus Jonathan. Just looking at the names alone, you can go pretty chalk on this. Like you don't have to look at the roster. You just look at who's playing. Timmy versus Jonathan. You can probably go chalk on this, but I have Jalen Hurts over Mahomes. I have a lot of quarterbacks over Mahomes at this point.
Yes.
Gibbs and Taylor. Who knows if Taylor's healthy? If not, I mean he's got Jordan Mason he can slot in. I'd take those two over Bones and Kareem Hunt. Wide receiver AJ Brown looks fucking healthy as hell.
Mhm.
Malik Neighbors should come back. It'd be pretty weird for a concussion to last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I expect him back. I take him. I take his side over it. Travis Kelsey over Evan Ingram. You know what? Evan Ingram, Timmy's lone like bright spot. Yeah, it's pretty
True.
bright spot
That's
actually.
true. That's true.
So I'll give it to Timmy on that. Then you have Najee versus whoever is gonna be in his flex. I'd take whoever. I this one's kind of hard. I'd take Najee actually. I'll take Najee in the flex.
Versus the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets are
Okay.
soft.
Okay.
Okay.
Jets run D is soft.
Okay. Okay.
So, but yeah, other than that, I think Jonathan wins this probably by a huge margin.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, just going down Jonathan's names, if you just take it by the name value, not even looking at anything, it's just Jonathan down the board. He just has the star power. Timmy doesn't have
Yeah.
the horses, man.
It would take a lot of injuries on Jonathan's side for Timmy to pull this off. But it could happen. Timmy's heating up.
Yeah, Timmy's heating. This one's for fire, and it might be his
Those are
toughest
fire.
test.
Oh,
If Timmy
man.
makes it past this week, I might have to reconsider the
Yeah,
tier.
Ball-
Booty
that's
bound
what-
team.
I
Yeah.
might have to
Award
consider the.
fly.
All right, go
Oh
ahead.
shit! Big week, big week. All right. So I agree there. David, break us down Royce versus Topher here.
Royce versus Topher, 2 3-3 teams competing for the playoff spot here. Purdy and
Yep.
Mayfield, I stay in the fire with Mayfield here. Baltimore, I think back end has been pretty soft. I think they've been getting torched by literally everybody.
Mhm.
A Chain and Mostert 1v1 versus Chuba and Kyron. I mean, Chuba, man, is staying in the flames here. I kind of
Yeah,
have
hell
this as a
yeah.
plan.
He's good.
Let's stay in the flames with Chuba and Deontay Johnson. Um, but I have running back leaning. I don't know. It's a push here, just
Okay.
because I don't know what Raheem Mostert, what type of workload he's gonna get. Running or wide receivers, I like Royce's side. I like Terry McLaurin. I like Deontay Johnson. They're both heating up right now in this season. Diggs is also having good games without Noah Brown, but Xavier Worthy is just like too inconsistent, I feel like. But who knows? Coming off their bye, maybe they've like adjusted something. But I think coming off of their bye, they're going to be more Travis Kelsey centric than maybe Xavier Worthy. So I think they're going to kind of revert to like the last year's type of offense with Juju and Kelsey being in the mix, and kind of like the year they won the Super Bowl last year. Tight ends, I think, is a wash here. And Wandale versus Romeo Dobbs. I think I also have this as a push. I like Romeo Dobbs. I guess, throwing a tantrum in the surprisingly, well, you know what? Surprisingly, throwing a tantrum in the front office surprisingly works well.
Hey, could be the move.
Like freaking Zeke. Like what the hell is that? I'm like, and then he got like 50% of the snaps after he threw a
Yeah.
tantrum, and I was like, what the fuck? So, anyways, it works well. So, people, NFL players listening to this, if you throw a tantrum in the front office,
Nah, for us,
they'll
like,
listen.
dude, annual raises are coming up in a couple months. Like,
Yeah.
you're not happy with just a 3% raise? Fucking throw a tantrum.
Yeah, throw a tantrum in the
And
office.
no show to work.
There you go.
Oh shit!
There
No
you go.
call, no
Get
show.
suspended.
Your company's gonna start acting right.
Yeah. But
No.
all in all, I think I have Royce winning this one, edging it out over Topher. Any differences there?
I think I got Royce winning too.
I'm gonna go with Topher.
Oh,
Mm.
what's the
I
reason?
I kind of like the Kyron Williams matchup against Las Vegas.
Mm,
I think I smell probably a 25-point game from Kyron.
a 2 to 3 touchdown game, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's Sean McVay coming off of a bye. He's cooking up something devious.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I think Xavier Worthy, like, it's gonna be a ceiling play. It's gonna be feast or famine. Either he comes
Yeah.
out of the bye
Mhm.
with like a long touchdown or some kind of like manufactured touch that they always find to get him into, or it's gonna hurt. But I think like it's very possible that Worthy will hit his ceiling.
Mhm.
So I kind of like what's it called, Topher's ceiling more than Royce's, but Royce's floor is really high.
Okay. Okay.
So as long as like nothing goes wrong, that no gooses or anything, I yeah, like conventional wisdom says Royce, but I think I'm gonna go with Topher because I don't want to go chalk on this one.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let's jump into our next matchup: Mike Mo versus Yi. I got this one, so I'd like Jaden Daniels here versus Carolina. If James Cook is healthy, it makes it. You know what? I think. A lot of injuries kind of matter here. James Cook versus if Brian Robinson is healthy. I think that's gonna help me out a lot. If not, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble because I really like Mike Mo's running backs here. Wide receiver wise, I really like these Debo, Godwin, Higgins versus Addison, JMO, and Waddle. Tight end, I'm gonna lean Kyle Pitts. He's had some pretty big plays. Um, oh, this is tough. I would say this is pretty even this week. I would say this is pretty even this week. We got the 1-5 team versus the 5-1 team. You know what? I'm gonna go. Michael gets the second win. He claws his way back there.
There it is. I agree with you right there, Chris. I think he should play his new pieces. They always get the shiny new piece buff.
Yeah, you gotta
Whenever
roll 'em
you
out.
gotta roll them out. You gotta test them out. I think Joe Adderall has a good game. I think maybe 15 points coming from him. You guys want to shot bet that? I'll shot bet 15 points coming from Joe Adderall.
15
15. Wide
against
receiver.
Detroit.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
a good line.
doable. It's very
What's the line?
doable.
What's the line? You got like 15. You can take the over.
I'll take the over.
Dude,
Let's
I
go.
like the over on 15.
Oh, damn.
Shit, I don't
bro.
know.
James, you take it over on 15 too?
What if you put the line at 18?
That's so high.
All right.
15's
go.
not high enough.
I do.
You know what? 15 and a half. I'll take 15. It's
I'll
like,
do the highest I'll go is 15 and a half. I'll go 15 and a half.
but like 100 yards and a touchdown against Detroit. You got how many receptions?
That defense is a
Kinda.
lot less scary without Aiden.
That's true too. That is true too.
Uh,
That's too scary. You know what? I gotta put my money where my mouth is. I can't say like we haven't been shot betting if I don't shot bet. So, draw the line and call it, and then if I like it, I'll take the opposite.
Okay, the line's at the line's at 16 and a half. 16 and a half.
That's a good line.
Okay, that's a good line.
I'm taking. I believe in you. I ain't selling you damaged goods, Mike Mo. I'm giving you the over here. I ain't
Over
selling
s-
you. I ain't
Joe
I ain't
Adderall.
selling you damaged goods, bro. You have to trust me.
Over
It's
60.5.
to repent for my Rishi Rice trade. You know.
All right,
Mm.
David, what you got? You got the over. David got the over.
I got the over. James,
I'll
what
take
you
the
got?
under.
Oh God.
You guys are insane if you're thinking about the
Just
over,
give me
dude.
give me the over. I think this is gonna be a shootout.
I'll take the under. I'll take the
I
under.
should have sold J Adderall for way more than what I sold. If everyone's thinking the over on.
I think it's gonna be a shootout.
It's
Alright.
close. I just told you to call the line, and I trust you. I'll take the
Bro, this
opposite there.
food's gonna get like
I
8 points.
I like both too, so it is what it is here. Who do you got winning this, James?
The matchup.
God. I'll take knee.
Hmm.
Like Michael's team looks vastly better than it used to. Way better. And so I think this one's gonna be a close one. But Knee's boys always come to play for him.
What?
They
That's facts.
always pull the shit off for him.
Alright.
That's facts.
Like and like his matchups, like his players need to step up for their like real life football game. Like Debo needs to show up against KC. Godwin needs to like stay hot against Baltimore. Like and T Higgins needs is a very integral piece to that offense. And
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get the ball
Alright.
enough times. So give me Knee.
All right,
Okay.
let's jump.
There you
This
go.
our last matchup. Nick versus Ryan. James, do the honor of closing us out here.
So this is the battle of the juggernauts, right? This is game of the
Yep.
week. We have
Mhm.
our
I would say so. I would say
one
so.
and two in the power rankings, and then by reputation, these two teams have been able to put up a lot of points. But let's see, we have Lamar versus Kyler. You're gonna take Lamar. Then you have Bijan and David Montgomery versus I'm gonna call it Saquon and Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean the Derrick Henry and Saquon side of it.
Mhm.
Then you have Jaden Reed and Tay versus Dell and Zay. I'm gonna lean the Jaden Reed side. Maybe I don't think Tay has a big game, but he's gonna be a lot more reliable.
I think he
feel
gets a
like.
touchdown this game.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe he gets like 12 points.
yeah. GM Aaron has to make sure this trade was
With
not
like
a fucking dumpster.
maybe like a 40% snap rate with like a touchdown, I think.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get an end zone look too. Kittle versus Bowers. I lean the Bowers side of things. Um, then you're gonna have in the flex Mixon versus Ramondre. I don't know if Ramondre is healthy,
Yeah.
but at this point, like I'm gonna take the Mixon over whatever he has on his bench,
Mhm.
anyways.
Mhm.
So, with that said, I'm gonna take Ryan.
Mm. Okay, okay. Do I agree with that? It's really close match. I mean,
Yeah,
it might come down. I feel like I'll go Ryan. I feel like it comes down to Kyler Murray or versus Lamar Jackson here. I
Fair.
mean, Kyler needs to have like a boom game to match Lamar's floor game. So I lean towards Ryan.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna go with Nick here. I think it's a tough game. Coin flip for me. I'm gonna go against the grain. We're gonna put this up in the chat, and then we'll have this be a shot bet of the week
All
for
right.
our game of the week because it's been a minute since we had one of those.
it's
Okay.
gonna be a good one. This is a good
Yeah.
match.
This is a good match for sure.
All right. Uh, take care, everyone. Good luck this week. And thanks, James, for joining us so late in night in Ohio.
I'm just gonna
Right.
call out sick tomorrow. Fuck it. I got PTO to burn.
Let's go.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Alright,
peace
later
out,
guys.
everyone. Later.
Good luck everyone.